Hello and welcome back to Gourmet, the Roman kitchen. Today's recipe is an ancient Roman pizza, and that might sound a little weird to you, but I'll get back to that a little later in the episode. For today's recipe, I'm adapting a Bon Appetit recipe, which requires yeast, about 7 grams, some honey, about 3 tablespoons, 325 grams of flour, 4 cloves of garlic, and about 50 grams of butter. You'll also need some crystal salt for crunch, but I don't have any on display here. To start with, add 300 ml of lukewarm water to a bowl with the yeast and the honey. Leave it for about 5 minutes until the yeast blooms. Give it a whisk. Add the flour, and then about 3 tablespoons of your crystal salt. I've only got pink, which isn't very authentic, but it'll taste the same. Now use a spatula to combine everything, and add some more flour if it seems too wet. This seems like a good time to talk about whether or not the Romans really had pizza. I'm sure some of you are saying, but Ethan, tomatoes weren't brought to Europe until Columbus travelled to America in 1492. And you're right, of course, but the Romans did have cheesy, garlicky flatbreads. And actually, in Virgil's Aeneid, a Roman epic that describes the founding of Rome, a harpy predicts that the Romans would eat their tables. Tables that would, of course, turn out to be made of bread. Bread tables, pizza, you can kind of see what I'm going for here. Anyways, next up, we need to oil the bowl with 4 tablespoons of olive oil. So now put the dough into the bowl. It'll take about 2 hours for the dough to rise, so cover the bowl with cling film and start grating some cheese. Now grease your pan. And empty your dough out into it. Try and get it roughly centred, and then stick it in the oven at about 220 degrees. While it's in there, melt some butter and crush in some garlic to make an easy garlic butter. And chop an onion into rough chunks, along with a broccoli into small florets. Now when your flatbread's been about 10 minutes in the oven, take it out, brush it down with garlic butter, layer it up with cheese, and load up as much of your topping as possible. This is harder than it sounds because it doesn't stay on very easily. Now you might be thinking broccoli is weird on pizza, but I have a very good reason. Lots of ingredients like bell peppers were native to the Americas and so unavailable to the Romans. You can go check out my blog for a discussion about trade in the empire. So now you want to get your pizza out of the pan and cut it into portions, using a fancy pizza slice if you've got one, or just a sharp knife otherwise. Try to get your toppings on your slice, which is harder than it looks. Now this recipe is really delicious. I ate it for dinner with my family and we all really liked it. Thanks for watching this episode. Please check out the blog post that came with today's episode